Watch this.
Ivermectin, the active ingredient used to deworm animals, is now being used by some as a hopeful cure for COVID. A Boise doctor explains why this veterinary medicine should not be used as human medicine. Believe it or not, the 208 isn't at home. But please leave us a message. We're sharing some of our voicemails for a Feel Good Friday. Not so feel good? The passing of a very good boy. Perhaps the best good boy to ever take the blue. Tonight, we're remembering Cole, the Boise State T-Dog. All right, we are working on another COVID-free Friday. It's a mandate that we've given ourselves here on the 208 of late. While we have an obligation to do it, cover COVID things, we too would like to take a break from all of it once in a while. We'd like to call those days COVID-free Fridays, but like the West Ada School District, we've also given ourselves an opt-out option. So even if we do opt out for the next 5 minutes or so, we could still call it a COVID-free Friday. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We got wind of something the other day. A crazy notion that animal supply stores, places like our local D&B supply stores, they've had a run on horse wormer lately. If you have horses, you know, twice a year, every spring and fall, you got to put that tube in the paste back in the mouth, right? Keeps the bays and buckskins free of worms. We have not yet hit fall, of course, still about a month out, so maybe it's kind of curious that the shelves where you would normally find the worming medicine are often as bare as old Mother Hubbard's cupboards. For those who may not know, the main ingredient of horse wormer is ivermectin. Ivermectin has gotten a lot of attention lately as people try to push some other means of COVID protection and treatment. I mean, other than just getting the COVID vaccine. And yes, it's happening. People are buying horse wormer, even the injectable kind from D&B, and likely not using it for their horses. A quick phone call to D&B, and I found out sometimes they do sell out of this horse wormer, but that usually happens in the fall. So while empty shelves isn't really unheard of, it's happening a lot earlier than usual. This is even with them posting a warning. You can see them on those shelves there. Several of those postings all over those shelves. This product is not safe or approved for human use. Doesn't matter. Empty shelves. So why is this happening? Well, as we mentioned, ivermectin is getting some traction on social media and other forms as a possible treatment for COVID-19. Even Dr. Ryan Cole, who is one vote away from being seated on the Central District Health Board, well, he promotes its use. Not really for everyone, he says, but he did tell us he's treated more than 200 people with ivermectin. But that's in a prescription form, and it's from a doctor. And that's a medicine made for humans. It's not horse wormer from the large animal aisle at D&B. And this ivermectin is turning into trips to the emergency room, too. According to St. Alphonsus Emergency Medical Director, the Boise Hospital is seeing 1 to 3 cases a day of someone who took non-approved therapies, like ivermectin, to treat COVID. And for Dr. Patrice Burgess, St. Al's Executive Medical Director, who's also in charge or is on the chair of Idaho's Vaccine Advisory Committee, she says this using horse wormer to fight the coronavirus is a shocking and scary development.
Absolutely. The FDA actually just put out a warning to people to not take ivermectin that is designed for animals, that to only take it under a prescription. It is a medication we do use for certain parasitic infections. They're pretty uncommon. And there's a preparation that's made for humans that has to be dosed properly. The medication on the shelf is for animals, of course, and so it's not dosed for humans, and it's absolutely not safe and not recommended to take that. If you have a prescription from your doctor, then that would be for an actual parasitic infection, not for COVID. It's not been approved for COVID. I think there are some studies out there, but they have not, been finished yet. And there have been some cases in other countries where they've tried ivermectin and have actually had people with worse outcomes. So for all those reasons, it's not recommended to do.
Can it be explained simply as that's for parasites? COVID is a virus. They don't kind of work together very well.
Exactly. Although we do occasionally see medicines that you don't expect that are prescribed for one thing that work for another thing, but it's certainly something you don't want to just experiment with on your own. You want to wait and let the folks do that in a very controlled way with the proper dosing and the proper, scientific experiments. And it's particularly disheartening when we have things that we know are effective, like the vaccine that people are very afraid of. But then would be willing to do something like this that's really designed for animals.
So the FDA encourages people not to do this. The CDC encourages people not to do this. But let's say somebody just decides to do it anyway. I mean, what are the dangers with putting horse warmer in your body?
Yeah, so first of all, as I mentioned, the dosing is so far off. The biggest effect is really usually on the liver. There are other potential side effects, just like there are with any medications. And in this case, it's not even designed for humans. But the biggest effects are on the liver. You can always have allergic reactions and other effects on your blood and different side effects from any medicine, including ivermectin. Well, Dr. Burgess told me about a patient she saw a couple of months ago. A man came into the clinic not feeling well. Tests showed elevated enzyme levels in his liver, like 3 times higher than they should be. It was then he revealed he was taking ivermectin by way of a dog worming medicine to keep himself from getting COVID. It took about a month for those enzymes to get down to where they should be, Dr. Burgess said. But another patient she told us about tried using ivermectin that they ordered online to treat COVID, and they still ended up in the hospital. Perhaps you've been seeing people posting online that one side effect of taking ivermectin is a loss of control of their bowels. Dr. Burgess says that doesn't surprise her. This is sometimes how your body gets rid of something it doesn't want. Vomiting is another way. And while there are a lot of funny ways that we could play that, in all seriousness, the FDA and the CDC and most of the medical community are adamant. Do not buy and digest veterinary medicine, horse warmer, dog warmer, whatever, to treat COVID. It's bad enough for your body to be fighting off a dangerous virus, so why force it to fight off another foreign substance at the same time? All right, second day of school for kids in the West Ada School District, and kids, well, they're already out for the weekend. These 2 days have been kind of a testing ground for their mask mandate the school board passed on Tuesday night. A mandate that's not much of a mandate since kids don't really have to follow it as long as they have a note from their parents. They've had the past 3 days to turn those notes in, those forms, those opt-out forms. Well, these 2 days, they haven't really been enforced, the mask, that is, because, well, they had no way to do that. But come Monday, guess how many won't be opted in to wearing a mask in school? Well, we promised Steve yesterday that we would continue to get the latest numbers from the district. So, Steve, here's the latest. As of Wednesday, we told you 5 p.m., 3,700 forms had been turned in, slightly more. By 8 p.m., they had 6,384. 5 o'clock yesterday, that number jumped to 9,281. As of today, as of 2 p.m., that office closed at 4, by the way, but as of 2 p.m., when we checked, 11,702. We went from 23% of the student body population to 29% of the entire student body population of West Ada schools. They will not be wearing masks come Monday. Final total may be slightly higher, though, when that is all said and done, and parents can still opt out. They can still turn it in. They just have to take it to the school where their kid goes. That's how that's going to work from here on out. After all, this is their land, and today, some of the Boise Valley's original tribes return to honor their ancestors and tell their stories, which is what we aim to do here on the 208, tell your stories. So tell us what you want to hear more about, or just text us your story. Our number, 208-321-5614. Make sure you include your name and the hashtag the 208. You can also use that number to send us whatever questions or comments you have about the show, and we're going to respond to a few a little later, so you might want to stick around. All right, we told you before on the 208 how Boise got its name, right? Well, 2 French-Canadian trappers discovered City of Trees. They made their way along the Oregon Trail back in 1834. Boise Valley's history, though, goes back even further than that, before the city erupted with growth, obviously. Several tribes, they all lived here in this area, from eastern Idaho to central Oregon to northern Nevada, spread out all over the place. Tribes like the Shoshone-Bannock, Shoshone-Paiute, Hawaii, the Burns Paiute, all of them
and the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. A lot of people. But as people moved further west, those tribes and their people were forced from their homes. Things got so bad in the late 1800s, soldiers began to forcibly remove them from the valley when silver and gold were discovered. This weekend, some of those tribes are gathering at Eagle Rock Park in Boise for the annual Return of the Boise Valley People celebration. Inside that park is what's called Castle Rock. It's a spiritual gathering place for tribal people, and many of them often return there to offer prayers for their ancestors who are buried nearby. Today, we're able to join them as they share their stories of their ancestors.
What we're doing here today at Eagle Rock Park is all of our tribes have come together. We gathered together to share our oral history and our connections to this area, and we talk about our ancestors. We call them Mamuatep, and we just want to let people know that this area is really important to us because our people were marched out of here by the cavalry back in the late 1860s. When the gold and silver was discovered, that's when the cavalry came in and forced our people out. So the original Boise Valley people are from 5 different tribes. We come from the Burns Paiute tribe in Oregon, along with the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs Paiute Band in Oregon, the Fort McDermott Paiute Shoshone in McDermott, Nevada, the Shoshone Paiute tribe on the Duck Valley Indian Reservation in Nevada, and the Shoshone Bannock tribes from Fort Hall, Idaho, over in southeastern Idaho. So there are booths set up here at Eagle Rock Park today where people can learn about each tribe and ask questions. We just want people to learn about the real history of the area because a lot of it's not published.
I reside on Duck Valley Indian Reservation, which is also known as the Shoshone Paiute Tribes. This is the first year we have received a grant through the Native American Language Program grant. We're trying to revitalize our tribal languages, which is Shoshone and Paiute. So we've developed like coloring workbooks, different things that we are going to be teaching our students in the school. It's very important, I think, because it identifies us as a people, just different aspects of our life, like moral values, through our stories, our legends, and a lot of it you wouldn't understand it unless you did it in our language. And it's more funner to learn it in our language because we could joke about it and talk Shoshone or Paiute and make jokes, and it's funnier than saying things in English. Nothing is really serious unless we get in trouble. Then we get our ears pulled and whatever. And we're gonna start our elders group because a lot of our elders have told us that they are losing the language when nobody speaks to them, which is kind of sad.
I'm gonna say a prayer for all of us in my language, our language.
We consider this our homeland, so it's important we come back here because all of our ancestors are buried throughout here. So we need to let them know we're not going to forget them, and we want to honor them.
Eventually, the tribes say they want to build a monument and a cultural center somewhere in Boise, and they say they want people to be able to go and visit anytime to learn about the history of the original inhabitants of this area. Last night, Boise State lost an icon. He was known by many names: Cole, Cowboy, T-Dog. But the Boise State fans, he was just a pure Bronco. His days were spent anxiously waiting for game days where he would wait to retrieve the tee at kickoff and again after extra point attempts. Well, not necessarily, but during the summer, he would sometimes work as the bat boy at Boise Hawks games, running out to grab bats after a hit. Yeah, he was a busy boy, but he always made time for his fans. In his short life, he made more than 500 appearances on local and national television. So tonight, we're going to remember this Bronco legend for his work on the Blue.
On Boise State game day, there's a lot of excitement down on the Blue. But every week, The crowd roars a little extra when one special athlete hits the turf.
Cole is a Boise State T-Dog. He, after kickoff, runs out there and retrieves the tee, brings it back to me.
This dog with a job is a 9-year-old field trial Labrador named Cole.
He knows his job and he loves it. He's on cloud 9 when we're on the sidelines. He adores it.
Much like the BSU football squad, Cole starts preparing for game day with a rigorous practice schedule. Cole's hard work on the practice field is important, but his coach says he's simply a natural.
His genetics tell him he wants to retrieve, so then it was just fine-tuning it and showing him exactly what to retrieve, how to retrieve it, how to bring it back.
Perfecting the technique, though, takes plenty of time and repetition.
Basically using food and motivators to teach functional behaviors and making sure that they can behave around heavy distractions, such as a Boise State game.
When game day arrives, Cole works to stay concentrated as he gets ready. But as he trots around the stadium, he always makes time for his fans.
Everyone loves to come say hi to him.
Alongside the rest of the Boise State team, Cole goes through the pregame excitement down on the blue. Finally, after much anticipation, Cole runs to his position and waits for the Broncos to score.
You know, the louder that the crowd cheers, the more excited he gets.
Cole waits patiently to do his job, but soon enough, he hears an explosive cheer. The Broncos have scored. As BSU prepares to kick off after their score, Cole knows it's his time to shine. Cole is rewarded with his favorite snacks for a job well done. But the truth is, he does it for the love of the game.
His $1 million reward is retrieving the teeth.
And of course, playing with his friend Buster Bronco.
All right, so we've been doing this 208 thing for more than a year and a half now. We thought, well, this would be a good time to clear out the old voicemail box. As you can probably guess, we get a lot of viewers who like to call in and tell us how we're doing. Sending us a text isn't the only way to get involved in the 208 conversation. We take phone calls too. We listen and try to respond to every one of them, just like our text messages. And just like those text messages, we're going to see about sharing some of them right here on the show. So let's go ahead and see what we got going in there right now.
I just wanted to say what a great job you're doing at the 5 o'clock news. I just love the way you're doing it. And P.S., forget wearing a tie. It looks good.
Awesome.
My name is Virgil Anderson. I live in Burley, Idaho, and I don't care if your guy wears a a necktie or not.
Thanks, Virgil.
I still like the news. Give Rick Lance a hug for me. Bye.
Oh.
Yes, we love your new 208 program, and we love Brian. I mean, you have absolutely, with this program, hit a home run, bases loaded. And I'm not kidding you. We have watched Channel 7 KTVB forever.
Wow.
But you guys have really, really stepped up. We just love it. So keep it up, would you?
Awesome.
This message is definitely not for Mark. It's for the guy that did the 208.
Oh, that's me.
It was phenomenal, fantastic. I'm a grandpa, and I hope that tons of people are watching your special 208
Me too.
daily.
Me
Not
too.
for Mark and his show, but
Okay.
for you guys at 208.
Sorry,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Yes, okay. I'm calling here Tuesday evening.
All right.
And Brian, he was putting his opinion way out there. I'm smart enough to interpret the news myself, and I don't want other people's opinions that read me the news. Thank you.
Well, we'll just read it to you then.
My name's Melvin. The 208, my wife and we're going to anywhere we can go other than this 208. We don't like it, and that's just us. Don't like the 208.
Okay.
Brian's a great guy.
Thanks.
He's great. But in this capacity, forget it. All right. Have a good day.
This sounds more like a talk show to me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Nah.
And he's very opinionated, and I personally don't care about his opinion. I just want the news reported as it is, as it's stated. I don't care if you're wearing a tie. I don't care if you're not wearing a tie.
Okay.
And I don't care if your wife is sleeping with the neighbor. I just want the news reported, and you seem like this. I don't need your history lesson. I've already went to school. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, this comment is about Brian and his tie.
Okay.
He gave an arrogant rant the other day. He's not being respectful to the viewers or to the co-workers who wear ties. So
really,
he's a disappointment, and his arrogance made us very upset in this household.
Oh.
He may have the job he wants, but I have the TV controller I want. And all I have to do is just go one click, and he goes goodbye.
Yes, I am one of the patriots down here for the meeting, the protest against DDH. And you people are lying about us. We are done with you as a TV station in this state, and I will make sure that everybody calls you. Everybody.
Everybody?
This is Clifford from Emmett, Idaho.
Okay.
I don't understand why so many people are stupid or dumb.
That's a good question, Clifford.
Hey, you communist, socialist, propaganda station. You. You're not Idaho. You're garbage. You're not even American.
Okay.
All right. You know, never mind.
Okay, well, never mind then. We'll be right back, and maybe, I guess, with more of your comments. All right, well, it turns out we did leave some time here at the end of the show to get to some of the comments you sent in during today's show, and I appreciate those that sent in comments saying you appreciated us sharing the voicemails. We get quite a few of them. So let me get to this one here. This one from Scott. Let me think about this. People are going to put horse dewormer into their bodies, not knowing what is in it, but they will refuse the COVID vaccine because of some sinister plot and claim they do not know what is in it. Barnum was right, says Scott. All right, a couple more comments. Is the horse or dog parasite medicine, ivermectin, the 2021 answer to natural selection, asks Jose in Nampa. And we're going to leave you with this one as we go to the break, or we go to commercial. Another black dog watching Cole.